Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Welcome, one of all. And we are back to our Netflix review. Today, we got a gem. We're going to wrap up the post mortem of our everybody's favorite romantic Ted Bundy wannabe, Joe Goldberg, in the series You.
The series or the final season of the series You season 5 just premiered and ended. You can stream it on Netflix. You can binge it all day, all night, music television for all your old heads over there. And you know what? It's been a while, so Rocka, give us a happy recap of, what's been going on. Now, should we go spoilers or should we not go spoilers?
I think we go spoilers because I think if I'm reading the room correctly, there's enough people out there that are either confused or unhappy with the way things ended. And there's a lot to talk about as far as the direction they went to wrap this up. So if you haven't watched it and you're listening right now, you can pause us and pick it up later. But I think there's no way to do justice without some big spoilers.
All right, spoilers abound. So, a quick happy recap of season 4 or what's been going on. Take it away, Rocka.
All right, so Joe went to London
Mm-hmm.
and he reinvented himself as a professor of sorts, literature, and had either was absorbed into or clinched his way, whichever way, because of his psychological tendencies, into this multi-billion-dollar world of ultra-rich, spoiled brats, through which he got intertwined into their machinations and their craziness.
The Eat the Rich Killer.
Eat the rich killer. And so, in meeting Kate,
Kate, Kate Lockwood.
meeting Kate Lockwood, what a name, and all the unlimited resources they have, they pinned the Eat the Rich killer on somebody else, an enemy of theirs, and headed back to America, where Joe had left what in season 3 under extreme suspicion, and I mean his wife love died in a fire, the kid. There's a lot that happened. So he's back and absorbing the limelight, welcoming the limelight of this different stratosphere he is now reached onto, but
Yes.
he cannot help himself. Tried and true to his character, he is a sociopath with delusions of grandeur on another level, and he cannot help himself to have this hero complex that permeates through all seasons
White Knight.
and beyond. The White Knight. Now, again, he cannot help himself from leeching onto another woman, regardless of the fact that he got his son back. He's sitting pretty financially. He got ownership of the bookstore that he grew up in for all intents and purposes. He's got it all, but he's got the itch.
Yes. That part of him he cannot let go of, which is the part that kills, the other half, or the dark half, whatever you want to call it, the passenger or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, so season 5, as Rocka mentioned, Joe is back. He's essentially Prince Charming. He's all over everywhere, super popular. And we're introduced, and here is what one of the things I did not like, or one of the flaws of series like these, or series in general. And I'm a big continuity guy, okay? And when they just start making up family members and people who were important but were never mentioned or never appeared, and all of a sudden now they're really, really important. I mean, I would have to go back and see the episodes and really dig deep, but all of a sudden, Kate has a set of twin sisters, both played by Anna Camp, Maddie and Regina, right? Reagan, there you go.
Reagan.
One is an absolute,
Monster.
you know, yeah, exactly, monster, while the other one is,
Sweet pie.
yeah, I mean, she's not perfect, but in comparison to Reagan, she is, the good one, the party girl, whatever. And they're all part of Lockwood, while Kate is trying to make amends for what she did and basically trying to be so benevolent and try to change the world. She also has a half brother, Teddy. Um, yeah, so and Teddy is cool. He for the most part he was not born rich, and all of a sudden no one likes him. I mean, so and she's trying to get him on the board, and because he's as Reagan so eloquently put it, dad came home drunk one day and found your mother, basically who just worked
The
there,
help.
and yeah, found the help, and that's how he popped out. So Kate has a great relationship with Henry, and Joe is being Joe, but he still cannot put away that part of him. And here's the issue for me, real quickly off the bat. What's the point? Why was there this? I don't think this season was even necessary. Heck, I go one step further. I don't even think last season was necessary. I think it should have ended with the love, situation. Because all you did was I compare this to freaking Game of Thrones on how we all well now if we don't know I'll tell you right now. Grim,
Spoiler.
spoiler, Grim at the third book, it was supposed to end in the third book, and then he said, you know what? He just created 60 new characters and just blew the whole thing up. And instead of it ending, he just created a whole thing. Same thing. It could have all ended right there. Either Joe, well, we're going
Well,
Florida's right. I mean, either Joe and meets his demise one way or the other, or he escapes one way or the other.
that is the issue. That is one of the issues that I have, which right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you. I crawled through this season because every time I got excited, it didn't deliver. And I'm very disappointed in this season. I'm way disappointed in the ending. And you're just hitting a few of the issues. There's more. One of my pet peeves is Kate's sudden change.
Well, it
She
was
was, oh, you're meaning to say that. First of all, I like everything you said. Everything is very convoluted and so out there in left field. I'm supposed to believe that she stuck her neck, her reputation, her money, her family all out so that you can be with Joe, who you've mentioned is a sicko serial killer, obsessed with murder, obsessed with you, obsessed, obsessed, obsessed. You bring his kid in, you bring him back to America where everything happened, and you have this delusional thought that everything's be rosy. Yet when push came to shove with the other Texas Bob or whoever guy, you you freaking sanctioned the hit, and then I don't want to hear about it. Her character is so, like you said, so discontinuous, filled with potholes. Like it's hard. It's hard to go on with the series watching her character dissolve like this. It's one of the worst believable character arcs that I
okay.
could go through.
I get that. Now, what I have an issue with, and if you guys don't know, this is a book series by Caroline. Kepnes. I apologize if I messed that up. And the book's pretty good. I mean, and it delves deep. And I read the first two. There's another one. I'm not sure if there's two more or, but the second one goes through the beginning of the whole love and the family and the whole thing, and and then it ends at a point where they kind of, well, I don't want to get into it, but because I have to reread it and whatever else, and it kind of puts me, makes me think that was the book this convoluted also, or was this essentially made for TV or extended for TV?
I think the latter. I think it was extended because, like you said, this is season five. We have seen the song and dance over and over again. There really wasn't anything new brought to the table, and we're going to eventually get to the main
No, you
protagonist here. You buy Bronte's character?
no. I mean, all of a sudden she became a master manipulator, a master freaking actress to fool Joe. I get it. You're trying, and here's another thing, and this is maybe something that I have been, I've been thinking about and whatever. And Joe has dealt with this so much, and Joe is so stupid.
You would sniff her out in a heartbeat.
Exactly. Old Joe would have sniffed her ass out. I mean,
What happened to New Joe? I don't buy New Joe. And you're telling me he
it
got
is so.
everything set. He got so sloppy in this season.
I mean, look, people who don't know, and I hate to say it this way, people who haven't, because we write and then people who have not read the book or have not really delved into the series as deeply are gonna buy it. I don't buy it, man. I know you don't buy
I
it.
don't buy it. I I don't buy her character change and like you said, her character development and the fact that she's such she's come up with such a superficial story and her own fake character Bronte that somebody who's so literally versed like Joe can see through her. How is he all of a sudden become so transparent and so easily fooled? I don't
Not once, but twice.
This
Twice.
is a man who escaped, who brilliantly figured out love.
I
Who
mean,
part of me didn't figure out that deep that she was one up on you. I didn't even see that coming. I That's what captivated me was season two. It's like, whoa, whoa, she's actually better than him until he bested her. That that last episode of that season was phenomenal.
that's what I'm telling you, man. I mean, give me 3 seasons, 4 seasons, and look, and they get it, And don't get me wrong, the character of Joe Goldberg will probably go down as one of the best characters in TV history. I really enjoy that character, but
He's
I,
your charismatic
yeah,
serial killer who takes love and everything else to new levels, literally of life and death. And God forbid you show doubt or you show any um, doubts, a chink in the armor of your love for him. He goes all psycho, and his mind goes. And that's the thing that I think was so attractive about Joe. And everything was from his monologue, right? You. Why is the title you? Because it's not you, it's me.
yes.
Which I don't know what you feel, and I don't know if you want to get to it right now, but which ties into the ending, which I thought was one not a magnanimous, huge Hollywood sellout, but I kept saying towards the end, no, don't say, don't, and then he did. I was like,
Okay, well, we're here.
they
No.
went so chalk. They went so chalk to say, "Oh, all these psychos. He's locked up, and okay, and I'm jumping ahead here. He got
Oh,
caught.
yeah,
Okay,
at the
all right,
end when you
let's get to it. Let's get to it. How did you feel about how the ending was ended?
the fact that Joe gets his comeuppance has to happen. Now, according to Hollywood, me, you know how I feel. You know how. I would have done it completely different. And him, losing his
Wait, let's take it a step before that. Let's take two episodes before the end
okay.
when you have kind of like Charles Dickens with his three ghosts come after him to lock him up. They got him in the cage. How do you muck that up?
The, at that point, you know what I was wishing? I mean, and it would have just been a great clusterfuck, but I would have been I would have been all for it. That love somehow survived, and that would have been. I was just hoping she would come out the corner, and and that would have been great. I mean, that just hit.
Maybe in the background, Doctor Strange comes up and goes, "Oh, wrong
Yeah,
portal,"
I
and then
mean,
everyone came from the multiverse.
the only thing that could have mucked it up worse was the fact that I mean they kind of played around it in the previous seasons that he would have been start seeing things and start seeing, you know, her or
And
them.
I don't think there was enough of that either, where
It
his own personal
was Jenna
psychosis
Ortega's
was
character.
whose?
Jenna Ortega's character.
Oh yeah.
Which I get. I mean, all right, he let her go, whatever. But I mean, she knew it wasn't. Wouldn't she be also involved in whole thing?
Especially social media blew up his stuff.
I'm saying. I mean, I get it. She's probably was
Well,
busy and she didn't want to do it or
no,
whatever.
no, no. You're saying what everybody's saying. There's plot holes aplenty. It's a
Oh,
super sieve.
jeez.
That's why part of me was entertained by watching the actual stuff because the psycho killer true crime stuff I can't get enough of. But knowing that this is a show, part of a series, season five, the the obvious ending of Joe, I was so thoroughly disappointed with how everything was unfolding the way it was. Where again, he keeps escaping all these things because of a combination of luck and his wits. But it seemed like his wits were going so bad and he was just finding all this luck. It loses its credibility.
And of course, all right. And also for all you folks who have not seen the series, who have not seen the show at all, and just think it's about a serial killer, whatever, and looking for a down and dirty,
Dexter.
yeah, legitimate true crime serial killer. It's not. It's
No, it's
it's kind
it's
of
it's over
romanticized.
the top romanticized.
Yeah, it's over the top. It would be, for example, if you want a hardcore serial killer thing, you'll be, as Rocka mentioned, Dexter or Mindhunter.
Hannibal, something like
Yeah,
that,
things,
Mindhunter.
things of that nature. While you would freaking, or in comparison to, let's say, a medical drama, The Pit would be that. Well, Grey's Anatomy would be you. I mean, it's better than that, but you get the idea.
You know, like just so many holes. Like, the first day that Bronte breaks in and he catches her, and then does it again. It's like anybody's
But just
spidey senses
but
would just go on full
just
alert.
in itself, why would there be an open? I get it, fine. You gotta make something up. But why would there be any window open in that place that has a ton of freaking valuable books, and it has that cage that he has killed many a person? Why?
And
And how would
as
you be able to
and,
access it when she's not alive? Well,
and as paranoid as he is, he puts cameras everywhere. Are you kidding me?
come on, please. And then he's the only person. I mean, I guess he has a Clark Kent look, puts a hat on, and he could, he no one knows who he is. Sure, good looking guy with great hair. I mean,
I'll be right back. Yeah. So like you're saying,
all right.
that the plot holes and the discontinuous characters. The characters are the worst parts, in addition to the plot.
Yeah, it almost seemed like they it's almost seemed like they knew they had the ending. They had the ending, and they were just trying to find a way to get there, crawling their way to get to that ending. They knew how Joe was going to go down. Right? First, which I would say, I mean, I would even question that Joe should go down, but that's besides the point.
No,
Why
no, 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 no,
was
no.
hmm.
Stay on that.
No, and I'm not saying Joe's a piece of shit, you know.
No, I know. No, in the context of the book, in the context of the show,
Right.
I actually am in agreement with you. In the context of the show, I would have preferred he kill everybody in a clever way and get away with the kid.
Yeah. The issue is I think Penn Badgley was growing more and more reluctant to do the show as a lot of people were really siding with Joe and they really like Joe. And he's oh man, that's I don't want to mess this up, but I know he's of a certain religion and he really made a point that like dude, like Joe's a real scumbag. No, that
Well,
even this
no, on this,
Penn Badgley almost turned down the role of Joe as he feared that the show would romanticize toxic behavior such as stalking. He was convinced after producers told him that was the exact reason why he was right for the role. He would approach the show and impart in a way that would ensure that Joe was clearly the vision of the villain. Geez, the villain of the story. So I mean,
okay, so here's my thing, and you've heard this already too, right? There was a also growing polar opposite part. Still
mm,
captivated by the show, but there was a growing voice that said the show was indirectly promoting the toxic masculinity and the toxic, um, um, which they did show in the last few
yes,
episodes
which I
of.
think this year, and this is why I think they lost their balls. I think the producers lost their balls to a degree. I think they really banged you over the head with the social media stuff. They banged you over the head with the toxic, which agreed. But the
And it gets fanatical.
yes, but the target demographic of the show is not them.
It's
Let's
actually largely
yeah,
women.
exactly the original series. The first season aired originally where on Lifetime, in where it got ratings, it got sent to Netflix, it exploded, and then Netflix just took it over. Okay, because
Because
it
if you
wasn't
want to
ready,
throw
it
this,
wasn't ready for Lifetime. It was a bit even too risque for Lifetime.
it, the ugly truth is, and this is not for everybody, and I understand this is 2025, but the ugly truth is the romanticized white knight is beloved because how heroic to defend the woman's honor. However, you don't want to see the ugly side of who the knight kills.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, it is toxic in the sense that you kill indiscriminately everybody who you perceive to be a threat, and at the same time, you step out on your lady left and right.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And Joe's is no one's defending it. His character is this character. He is a sociopath.
yes. He is a legend in his own mind. He, I mean, what I did like about the second to last episode when they all came, Marianne came out. Marianne was basically the public's voice and telling him exactly what he was and called him out on every single thing.
And she was spot on.
But check it out. That was the highest rated episode according to IMDb of the season. While the other ones were all in the mid sevens, while that one was 8.6, and the finale is, I do believe, a 5.5.
Because if you want a fitting end to Joe, my vote is if he wasn't going to walk away because I know Ted Bundy walked away for 50, 60 plus killings as a serial killer. But if he wanted to walk away with some kind of justice, I might take some flack, but I side towards the opinion of you brutally torture the man
You're
and then
right.
you eventually kill him.
You're 100% correct. And if it were a movie, they probably would have done that. And that's why I'm telling you, I think they lost their balls somewhere along the lines. And look, and I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like that. Meaning, I think that they were a lot more riskier and they took a lot more risks early in previous seasons. And I think that they were a lot more, you know,
They're a lot more PC.
a lot more. I hate even to even say that. I mean,
Well, okay, let me find another word that's a little more accurate and less touchy. They played it safe.
yes, they played it. Yeah, they went as far to the edge, but they did not go to the edge. I mean,
He-
there is no reason why. I mean, it should have ended. And again, since we're going spoilers, so just Kate and the other the other
the
girl,
son. Oh,
the plan they had was good with the fire. That was actually pretty cool. All that was fun, and then they kind of were like, oh, the whole added part that Bronte comes back and saves him, and then that sucked because you killed that whole thing. You killed it.
here's a little insight to our crowd. You and I have worked on a script 20 plus years now with PBJ about what would make regular people into serial killers, right? And we that popped into my head at the end because you're telling me no matter how victimized some people were and how their lives were upended completely, the girl in prison, Kate, Marietta, everybody, go down the line, Bronte, I don't buy it that any one of them or all of them were able to kill Joe.
You don't buy that they were able to kill Joe.
I think they were willing, but I don't think they can. It's totally different thing to actually
They
do it.
killed him. He was essentially dead. She whacked him in
Ooh,
the head.
only one person.
He was done. He even admitted, he was like, you killed me. He was like, and she was.
No, he was still alive in this birdcage. Who was the only one that actually, other than Love, who
No,
was the
no,
only
no,
one
no.
actually?
He was
But
obviously.
in this last episode, who was the only one who actually was executed what she was going to do? Was the twin.
Well, Maddie.
Maddie actually set ablaze with Joe dead, all intents and purposes, without being saved by Bronte. He would have died.
See, it was an act of passion, an act it wasn't. It was
Still,
she's
I
reacting.
I wrestle I wrestled with it as much as we would like to all realistically say. I got a loved one got killed, my life got destroyed. He stepped out on me. He took me for my riches. No matter what the crime, not everybody has it in them to actually kill the assailant in cold blood. Not in self-defense at the moment. I'm talking about plot it, capture him, torture him, confront him, get the confession, then kill him. It's a different animal.
They were there. They would have. I mean, again, maybe not exactly
But
how.
they're not Joe.
Yeah, but then
And,
again,
and
that's a conundrum, isn't it? Right there, isn't that the
well, here's the you know what the biggest conundrum is the actual ending with the pen pal letter from a fan who loves Joe, saw Joe is mistreated, and will do anything for him. And then he has this little monologue diatribe there about it's not you crazy people who are let free. I mean, it's not me, it's you people.
yeah, which I wasn't a fan of because it's like not,
I puked a lot of them. I puked all over my pizza.
it's like really not even gonna give a social commentary.
How sappy was that?
Fuck yourself, right there at that point.
But indirectly, what we had just mentioned about the showrunners getting it towards a direction to point inward to this toxic masculinity, and the romanticizing of murder and the public social media craze. They actually screwed themselves by his ending. What a lot of people in that same vein say should happen about being incarcerated and live your life in guilt and reflection and life in prison doesn't work. His mind is the same. He justified all the killings by saying, it's not me, it's you. Nothing rehabilitates.
No, you're right. See, but I gotta be honest, and we can dance around this, or we can this is. I don't think jail rehabilitates you anyway.
Yes, and this could be a podcast
Okay.
episode for another time. We should get a panel of priest judges and a new pope.
All right. I think that jail makes you better at what you were before.
Sharpens the sword.
Yeah. But
Okay,
stay tuned for that podcast episode. To jail or not to jail.
Just like our coming whenever Izzy catches up, to be severed or not be severed at the workplace.
But when we let's go back to the ending. Joe's in jail. No, it's not gonna happen because I doubt he'll do it.
Another one?
Will they kind of maybe left it open
Left
for
it
a
open?
sequel or a revival?
They did. I don't see it happening.
And if so, would you want to see it?
Nope. Nope. You know why? Because I can almost telegraph that the whole 95% of that next offshoot project will be the same old thing. He's either gets let loose, he escapes, he goes find somebody, anybody who shows any interest to help him. He's now become the love of his life. He will do anything to protect them. He's the hero, and until things go sour, it's going to be the same old spiel. And I'm kind of done.
Yeah, and another thing, a couple of things that popped up, and I'm like, what? So he has the guy, the penguin from Gotham, who he let go, whatever, and he's helping him out. What couldn't you help him out previously in other seasons? Mm. And then on top of that, we know that downstairs there's no fucking cell service.
Don't
Explain
even.
to me the last three episodes. Riddle me that, Batman. How the hell all of a sudden, you know what? He paid the bill, and now you have cell service down in the basement and inside the freaking cage.
And there's so many plot holes, bro. Joe, the super calculated, super intelligent serial killer, captures the wrong twin.
Well, I mean, look.
No, dude. No. It's so sloppy on his part.
But
they know they're twins.
They were identical twins, though.
Yeah, but he knows they're twins.
Yeah,
he
but
knows they're twins. So wouldn't you find some tracker that this is her and this is him?
But he's not a spy.
Okay. Let's say you give him a pass for getting the wrong twin. You know that you got the wrong twin. Then you head down there and you reveal yourself to her.
Yeah.
To that point, she didn't know it's you yet. It could have been anybody. How about go down there with a mask, drug her, and then in some food or something, drug her, take her out, drop her off anywhere, and wash your hands of the whole thing.
Hey, Joe Goldberg is the only serial killer who doesn't believe in masks, doesn't believe in gloves, doesn't believe in freaking in many other things. I'm surprised he even stabbed the guy with the freaking with the knife, because I mean,
yeah, he doesn't seem to the type to get himself dirty like that. But now that we're dropping everything too, so the billionaire Texan dude, billionaire. So his dummy camera is disconnected. No.
The
No,
door is wide open. He has no security. No one else is living there.
no.
He's drunk and asleep, which so drunk that he didn't even notice that somebody freaking took the glass out of his hand. Didn't notice that someone chained him. I guess. All right, you do have to turn your brain off. I mean, to a degree, I understand that it's fiction, but my God, oh God, I still like my. I've always said this. I've always said this. I still like my fiction with a dose or with a smidge of reality, and
Well, that's the whole point, right? Like you mentioned in literary form, if you lose that believability, everything falls apart.
exactly.
How many times we wrote scripts, wrote stories, and then somebody comes legitimately with a red pen and points out all these inconsistencies that make it really not work. And you and I don't watch it with a critical eye like that to see, oh, okay, what's going to be wrong here? It just naturally comes to you. Like, what?
No, yeah,
Huh? No?
but I gotta be honest. I'm watching it and I'm like, damn, I'm not liking it. I'm not feeling it. Then a couple things happen. You're like, okay, all right. The whole twin thing. I'm like, all right, okay, yeah. And the Bronte thing. I mean, what makes Bronte the one to take down Joe? Why? Her character was kind of dull. I mean, mousy, which I understand why you have that.
The lure?
You have that freaking that the dynamic. I get that the nobody took down this monster. I understand that. I get that. But that's why I'm thinking I would love to read the book and see how it really comes off. If that's even
I think you should, and then post a compare and contrast with book and series.
see,
But even that whole group, that whole catfish group,
read the whole thing because
but that whole catfish group,
that's crazy.
that that was so weak.
That was bonkers. That was like that was kind of really. I'm like, okay. I
That
mean,
was, I mean, you tell me that you guys are murder mystery solvers that
Scooby
go
Gang.
leaps and bounds ahead of the FBI and the police, and
Yeah,
you make all these
that
connections.
what that reminds me of? That reminds me of you're watching
Don't
the
say Ancient Aliens.
you watch no watching Batman 66. Adam and Batman and Robin are stuck on a freaking on a freaking they're about to get sawed in half by a machine that chomps
Oh yeah, I remember that
and all of a sudden he has like a magnet or something in his pocket to freaking to and I'm like really it's just as stupid as that. I mean, okay, so yeah. And then all of a sudden, and then when they explain it, you're like, okay, so we're supposed to believe that this guy didn't really have anything to do with her, but he was so upset. And it happens to be Dr. Nikki's son, and I'm like, oh, come on, man.
what's worse, the plot holes here or questions about why you are watching Batman 60?
Yeah, and then on top of that, which look, I mean, to each of them, but then each person was a caricature or a complete stereotype of freaking of what you would think it would be, and I'm like, oh boy, come on. I mean, at least try a little bit.
All right. So we can agree that Joe, season five, was
Disappoint.
not an epic fail, but it was pretty bad.
It was disappointing. That I'll put it at that, disappointing. If the previous seasons like one, two, I mean, geez, I mean, were in the sevens
One
and
and two were spectacular.
they were up there. And while London, I think what did we give it? Did we give it a seven?
Maybe because they were clever, witty. The direction, the tutorial camera had you offbeat all the time. Didn't know what was coming from left field. Where the last two seasons were ridiculously predictable, and then if it was unpredictable, it was because it was stupid.
And this one, I mean, I give it a six because of Joe.
Yes, no, some of the acting is phenomenal, and some of the plot twist, at least the shock value, and then you just wanted to wrap it up. But I agree with you. It's on the low end of the six for me, and it was wholly disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, look, justice for Beck, obviously. And look, if you are a fan of the show or you've been thinking about watching the show or watching this season, I'm a complete like a completionist, so I guess it's worth a watch, but don't expect some grandiose, ending. I mean, and it
What are you
could
gonna title this? You suck?
you suck or you
It's
suck.
not me, it's you.
Yeah, so yeah. So let us know what you guys thought. Please like, comment, subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel, and let us know what you thought specifically about season 5 of You.
Rest in peace, Joe Goldberg. Um, and yeah, I guess that's a wrap. Thanks for listening, guys. Sorry for all the spoilers, but we couldn't do justice without it. You keep watching. Let us know what you think. And remember to always, if you're not saving somebody, save the whale.
Take care, everybody.